Okay, so I'm doing that. So now I want to share the screen again. Yeah, so let me show you the reading. And there will be some words you don't understand, so I'm going to explain. So with this reading, let's look at the picture first. Actually, it's quite interesting. This is in Australia, and it's called Australia's Convict Colonies. So have you got your pen and notebook with you, Omar?
Yes, I have it.
That's great, because I'm going to ask you to write down some words because you need to know the meanings. So I want you to write down the word convict, and I will explain what a convict is, okay? And you can write down the meaning.
Okay.
So the word convict, this picture is showing in Australia, where many, many years ago, you can see they're wearing very old-fashioned clothes. These aren't modern times. This is in history. My country, England, we used to send all the bad people, for example, murderers, criminals, burglars. You're free to write down any of these words if you want to. I'll start again. So we used to send from England many, many years ago, all of our bad people, for example, people who were murderers, criminals, burglars, all of these sort of people who did wrong things, people who were bad, we did not want them in England. So we put them onto ships, onto big boats, and we sent them to Australia. And they were called convicts. So it's not a good word, it's a negative word. Convict, it means this. If you're convicted, so if I take the word convict and I put an ED on the end and I say you are convicted of breaking into my house and stealing my television. So in other words, I'll tell you in Arabic as well, because I know the word. A convict is harami, or even more bad than that, right? So that's what
I know what you mean.
You know, good, that's great.
Yes, like government take him?
Yes, that sort of thing. So if they're bad and they do things against the government or bad things to other people, they are called a convict, and they are convicted. Yeah, they're convicted of doing a bad thing. We call it a crime, and they're locked up in prison or they're put into jail. But in this case, many years ago, we didn't want them in the country. So we put them all in ships and boats and we sent them off to Australia. So because we sent all the bad people off to Australia, they had to start something called a colony. Now, the people in Australia, they were called Aborigines. Have you heard of these people? No? Well, the people that originally lived in Australia, the natives there, the Ballady people, they were called Aborigines. And so now we've got all these bad people coming from England, going to Australia. They're convicts, not good people at all. And they made colonies where they said to the Aborigines, hey, we've come here now. This is going to be our country. Our language is going to be English, and we're going to have a culture of the English way of life. And so when people colonize other countries, I'll give you some examples. I live in Egypt now, where it was colonized by England. My country came to Egypt in about 1950, 1954, something like that. A few people came from England and they colonized Egypt. So they came into the country and they said, well, now you're going to learn to speak English and you're going to take on some of the things, our way of life, our culture. And when a country does that, it's called colonizing. So it's a colony, okay? Actually, I was very surprised when I came to Egypt because friends of mine, I've got a lot of Egyptian friends, they showed me on the television films. They were in Arabic, but I've got English words at the bottom so I can see. And these were films about when England in the 1950s colonized Egypt, and they made Egypt take some of their way of life, the language and some of the culture, for example. But they didn't just do good things. I was shocked, I was surprised, because they didn't always treat Egyptians in a good way. You know, when a country colonizes another country, they don't do all good things. They will be quite bad sometimes, because they might force the people to do things they don't want to do. So that's the meaning of colonization, or having a colony, right? So you can imagine now all these people sent from England, all these bad people, criminals, they're not nice, they're convicts. They went to Australia, they saw the Aborigines, the natives to Australia, and they put them out in the desert, and they said, we're going to take this piece of land, it's going to be our land, we're going to speak English, we're going to do this way of life. And so do you get an understanding of this picture now?
Yes.
That's great. So now this is reading for Ielts, and we've got in sections to make it easy. We've got from A to G, okay? Now what you're going to do, I'm going to send you the document. That reminds me, let me go and do that first in the chat. Here it is. I'll send you this document and you can save it. And then, inshallah, you can open it and work with it today.
Okay, you have it.
You've got it, right, that's great. So if you can open it. Now, I don't know how you want to do this, because I think you're on your computer, yes?
Yes.
So I don't know if you want to open this reading document on your computer, or maybe you want to open it on your mobile phone and work with your phone and your computer. It's up to you how you do it. So have a think about how you can do the reading. Maybe you want to read from your mobile phone while you're looking at the questions with me, because now I'm going to take you to the questions. Now you've got that document. So what I'm going to do is, just a minute. Here, I'm back here now. So I'm going to take you into this. I'm going to close the chat. And it's lovely, this site. It's really nice, because we can look at two things. Inshallah, you can look at two things at the same time. So while you're doing the reading, I'll give you time. Do you know what skimming and scan reading is? Have you heard about skim and scan reading? Shall we have a look? Let's have a look at that. So can you still see this screen with me, Omar?
Wait.
You can?
Yes, I see it.
That's great. So skimming and scanning are very important, because it means you don't read everything. Imagine if you're going to an exam and you've got maybe 20 minutes to answer all the questions and do the reading, and you think, well, I can't possibly read all this, every single word. You don't want to read every word. What you want to do is you want to skim and scan, which means you read it quickly. You don't read every word. You tend to look at what you can understand and the keywords that you see. And we've talked about keywords before, haven't we? So let's have a look what it says. Skimming and scanning are important reading techniques which are very useful in Ielts, as time is limited in the exam. So skimming and scanning, they help you to find the answers you need very quickly. And you skim a text quickly to understand just the general idea. So as you read for just the idea. And then you scan a text quickly in order to find bits of information that you need, okay? let's give you an example. So for example, I've just given you the reading paper for this section, so you've got that now. And questions 1 to 3, you notice on your reading you've got A to G or A to H, right? And the question is, which 3 of the following statements here are true of free settlers? Let me explain settlers as well, because I didn't explain that. So when these bad people, these convicts, were sent to Australia back in history, they settled. They didn't just colonize and call the country their own. They settled there. So that means, for example, I come from England, but I do not live in England. I came from England to Egypt, and now I live here. So I settled here. Okay? So that's the word. Good, that's great then. So we'll read again. So which 3 of the following statements are true of free settlers in the Australian prison colonies? They called it prison colonies because they were prisoners and they're bad people, according to the text. So what you have to do, Omar, now, and I'll give you a few minutes to do this, I want you to read what I sent you, the reading. I want you to read A, B, C, etc. Read it all. Now, while you read, you're going to use study skills. I have taught you to do that. So do you remember, if you're reading, you might want to pick out a word. So I can highlight like this, okay? Or I might want to underline or do something else. So, or if I've got my pen and my notebook, I might want to think, well, it could be mainly skilled workers. I want to note down skilled workers, okay? So you've got to find a way to find keywords here and match them. So you will be matching the keywords in the question to the text, which is, hang on, where's that gone? I'm looking for it now. I sent you, hang on, luckily I've still got the link here, so I'll put it back. The document that I sent you, I want to go there now. So it should come in a minute. Ah, here we are. So this is the document I sent you, the reading, and it's A, B, C, D. It's got little paragraphs and it all matches. That's all of it, yeah. So we've got to G. We go from A to G, and you got the picture. This is the document for the reading, and it matches, not there, it matches the questions here. So what I want you to do is to, I'll leave the questions here on the screen, and you have to spend some minutes doing the reading. If you want to highlight things, you know, like this, if you want to highlight a word or two, you can do that. Maybe that will help you, or write them down on your notebook. You understand? I'm trying to give you ways to do this. And you have to, the question is, which 3 of the following statements, A to H, which 3 of them are true about these free settlers in the Australian prison colonies, according to the reading, what you're going to read. So does the reading say, for example, they are all welcomed by Governor Macary's policy, or they all welcome, sorry, Governor Macary's policies? Policies are laws. So did the prisoners, did the settlers or the convicts, because there's a few words we've got for them, did they welcome Governor Macary's policies or not? Shall we tick B or not, right? So do you understand the task?
Just talk about Australian government.
Yeah, that's right. So I want you to do the reading that I sent you. This is the reading.
Where's the reading?
Yeah, you need to open this on your phone or your computer, and you need to read it, okay? And you need to think about it, and you need to pick out the right answer.
I don't have a reading.
Pardon?
I don't have a reading link.
Oh, okay. Let me send you. I thought I'd sent it to you. I'll send it to you again. Just a minute. Yeah, it's this one. So I'm going to send it to you again, Omar, and I want you to save it so you can open it. So I'll cut it to make sure I send it. And I'm going into the chat now.
Yes, yes, I see it.
You do have it. You do have it. Okay. Can you open it? Now, how you open it, I don't know how you want to do it. It's up to you. You might want to open it on your mobile phone. It might be easier to read it on your phone, or you might want to read it on your computer. So I'll give you a few minutes to read it. Let's see if we can get an example as well. So, right, so B, they all welcome Governor McCary's policies, B. So let us look at the reading, B, and we'll read about it. Now we're looking for the words, we're looking for the key words, Governor McCary here. So let's see, we've got 11 ships coming from England, 750 British convicts to Australia in Botany Bay in 1788. Okay. I'm looking for the words. I can't see the words anywhere about, do you see the words governor? There is no word governor in this paragraph. There were government farms and private gardens, but I don't, yeah. I'm looking at B and I don't see anything about Governor McCary's policies. There's no words here in B that say Governor McCary's policies. I'm quite certain of that because I've looked up and down and I can't see those words at all. So no, that's not true. So I'm not going to tick B because it's not true. So I'll just take you back there to remind you here. So B, I was looking for the words. I was looking for these keywords, look. Governor McCary's policies. I was looking in B, section B, for Governor McCary's policies. So if I go back there and look with me in B, there are no words that say Governor McCary's policies, right? They're not here. So that's not true. So we would not tick B. So it's not B. Okay, you understand? You need 3.
I will open the question in my phone.
Yeah, I'm going to help you by leaving here the questions on the screen. So you can see the questions on my screen, yes?
No, only I see the reading.
Oh, let me share again then. I'm going to stop this share. I'm going to share again. Okay. So can you see these questions on my screen, Omar?
Yes, I see it.
That's great. So I've got the questions here to help you. So now if you go to the reading with the picture of the convicts, and you need to read, and you need to see which of these 3, A to H, we need to tick. So we can tick them like this, and I will tick.
But you see for me here another thing. I have here listening.
You have there listening. Okay, let me do it.
I spoke with somebody.
Okay, I understand. I'll do it again, Omar, just a minute.
Okay.
So here it is. So now, do you see the screen with the picture here?
Yes, I see it.
Great. I'm going to take the link now and I'm going to cut it.
That link I haven't. The reading, but
you have the reading. Okay. So can you now start to do the reading, Omar? If you do the reading and read A to G, you've got to decide which one of these, which 3, you've got to pick 3. There's only 3 that we need to have. And I will keep the answers. I've got the answers here. I'll keep the answers on the screen. When you're ready, you tell me if I should tick Masalan, for example. Should I tick D, F, and E? Okay, because I can tick them. Okay, so you see the answers with me, yes?
I should now read the A to
Yes, you
G.
should now open the document for the reading with the picture, and you should read A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You should read them, okay? I'm going to give you a few minutes. Take your time and read each little paragraph. You've got small paragraphs, A to H or A to G. Read them, and if you want to highlight any words to help you, or use your pen and your notebook to write down the key words in the paragraphs, you have to decide, you have to make a decision, which of these three shall we tick? Which of these statements are true? It's like a true, you know, we've done lots of true or false, true or fake. Which of these three are true? Because some of them are not true, some of them are fake. So I'm going to be quiet now, Omar. I'm going to let you concentrate and do the reading.
Yeah, D, it's right. Truth.
D is true. Well done. Okay, that's great. Take your time, Omar.
And E, truth.
Sorry, E is true. Okay.
C, it is truth.
Which one, Omar?
C.
C, okay, C. Well done, Omar. Now, I'm not going to spend the whole time doing this with you because I don't want to waste too much. I want to maximize your time. We only have 1 hour, so we're going to do other things. But I'm just going to show you. So I've given you the reading document. Now, you can finish this by yourself. You can practice it all. I'll give you the link in a minute. So then you go on to questions 4 and 9, for example. It says the reading passage has 7 paragraphs, A to G. Choose the correct heading. So they have examples here. Masalan, this is all the headings. So, for example, you could choose free settlers or transportation of convicts or the end of transportation or convict life. They want you to give headings, you know, little titles. So the question is, choose the correct heading for each paragraph from the list of headings below and write your answers in boxes 4 to 9. Now they've got something here. I don't know if you've seen it. You see all these little I's and B's and things. This is what we call Roman numerals, Roman numbers. Have you seen Roman numbers before?
No.
I don't like them. I saw them when I was at school, and I still can't learn them. But I'll just run through and explain, because it's more confusing. They put these, even if they put Arabic numbers would be better. I find Arabic numbers are easier than these things. So this is like I equals 1 and 2 I's is 2 and 3 I's is 3 and this is 4 and this is 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's Wahed, Itnain, Dilata, Alba, Hamza, Seta, Sabah, Tamania. You understand now?
Yes, I understand.
Great. I don't like them, so I thought I would explain. And so what you have to do, you've got all these headings. You've got 1 to 8 headings. And you've got to, for each of the correct headings, for example, you might think that paragraph 1, sorry, heading 1 goes with paragraph B. You might think, well, that would be a good title for paragraph B. Now, how would you know that? Well, you'd look in paragraph B, and if you see the words free settlers, or you see something about free settlers, then you know that's a good match. To match 1 to B would be a good match. Do you understand?
Yes, I know.
That's great. Okay, so you can do that. And then you can move on to questions 10 to 13. And you have to complete the notes below. So you choose no more than 3 words. So it's very important that you remember when you write your answer, you can't put 4 words. Even if the answer is near 100% correct. If you've got 4 words and not 3, they will mark you down. They will mark it wrong. Okay, so it's very important to read the instructions, and they've written it in capital letters. So
from where I will get that word?
Let's read and we'll understand. So complete the notes below. Choose no more than 3 words. Obviously, to find out Australia's convict colonies, for example, 1615, convicts first transported, they went to some place controlled by Britain.
We will get the word from
you get the word
reading?
Yes, you get the word from the reading text, okay? I have a feeling it might be Botany Bay, so I'm not sure, but what you have to do, you have to look for the keywords in the text, highlight them, write them down on your notepad with your pen, and then you can put them in here. So do you get the idea?
Okay.
That's good. Okay. And then you can check your answers, okay? So that's good. Let me give you the link for that before I forget, before we move away from the reading. I'll have to reload the page to make sure. Okay. So I've got the link now, so I'm going to cut that and I'm going to send that in the chat, which has disappeared. Just a minute. Here we are. So I do believe I've got it already. So no, I put the reading in again, so I'm going to take that out. Yeah, this is the link to the questions coming now. I want you to open it and I want you to check that you've got the same as I will show you on the screen. So open this and make sure it's the same as you see here. And then you can save it, okay? So make sure you've got this document and then save it. And then you've got the questions and you've got the reading, and they work together, they connect. So you can do it in your own time and you can practice. So I'll give you a minute to just open and make sure you've got the right document for the question.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's great. And save that, Omar, and then we'll move on to do some speaking. And that is, where is that? Hang on. Here we are. Now I found this and it's really good. So we're going to have a go at this now. Because it's very helpful. How are you doing, Omar? Did you save it?
Yes, I saved it.
That's great, because I know you told me that after the lesson, after the session, you always practice. So I've given you something to practice with now. So here I found some very good speaking. The person is called Hanako. Hanako? But of course you're not Hanako, you're Omar. So we're going to put your name in instead. So the wonderful thing about this, because we've practiced before, we've done the speaking before, haven't we? But now we can have another go at practicing the speaking. And we've got sentences here to help us. So I won't say Hanako, I'll say Omar. For example, I can say, all right, Omar, in this first part, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about where you live, what kind of place it is. And, oh, isn't that interesting? It says, I live in the UK, in Canterbury. Well, I know you don't, but I'm thinking that's close to where I used to live in the UK. That's quite surprising. But, for example, you would say, I live in the UAE, in Abu Dhabi or wherever you are. And it's most famous for, I don't know what you've got, a famous building there. And it's quite a small town, or it's a big town with lots of buildings and green spaces. Maybe you've got parks and places you can go and have fun. Okay, but it gives you a sentence to start you off. Okay, so if you're thinking, oh, I don't know what to say, you can use their sentence. Okay, for example, if I ask you, what do you like best about Abu Dhabi? You might say, it's very peaceful and you can walk everywhere easily, and then you can continue with your own ideas. All right, so you might want to, let's see about the general theme, the general topic here. It seems to be we're talking about where we live, okay? So remember that you get 1 or 2 minutes, and I'm going to call up my stopwatch now on my phone so I can time you. Do you remember that when you do this, you get 1 or 2 minutes to make a mind map? Well, they don't actually tell you to make a mind map, do they? They'll say 1, 2 minutes to make notes. But then if you make a mind map, that will be amazing, because that will help you greatly as we know how to do that. So what I'm going to do is call up my stopwatch, because if I do, I can time you for 1 or 2 minutes making the mind maps. So we know that the topic is about where we live. Okay, and the questions are about where we live, about a famous landmark, somewhere famous, somewhere well known. I don't know. Do you live in Abu Dhabi, Omar? I can't remember.
Yes.
You do, yeah. I know it's a beautiful place, but I'm not sure what's famous in Abu Dhabi. But for example, you might say, I've got a famous building. And you might describe the building, and you might say that Abu Dhabi's got lots of old buildings and green spaces and trees, and you might go on to say things about it. What do you like best about Abu Dhabi? What kind of jobs do people do in Abu Dhabi? Okay, let's see what the sentence they've got for the jobs. A lot of people work for the university, of course. And there are many new IT companies as well. And then you can go on to say whatever you want. You don't have to use their sentences if you don't want to. You can make up your own sentences. But if you get stuck, you can look at their sentences and you can use bits of them or part of them or the whole sentence and then go on to speak more. Okay. So for this, we're going to, let's say we speak for about 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3, let's say 3 to 5 minutes we'll do. Okay. Which sports are most popular in the UAE or in Abu Dhabi? Which sports do you play at school, for example? Do you think children should do sport? I'm just giving you an idea of what they've got here. And then they move on to part 3. Right, let's move on to food. Do you like cooking? How often do you go to restaurants? You might think about restaurants in Abu Dhabi. What kind of restaurants do you enjoy eating in? And the sentence says, I like restaurants that aren't too formal, not too official. So, you know, casual, relaxed places. I prefer the cozy kind, ones that are very comfortable. Cozy means comfortable. Formal is not very relaxing. So if you like informal, that's nice and relaxing. But it's very important to me that the food is fresh and healthy. Yeah, that's a good point. So you might want to use that. What does a restaurant need to do to be successful? I think a good restaurant should change its menu fairly frequently. So they should vary their food. Maybe one day they can have chicken, the next day they can have lamb, you know, something like this. And use food that is in season. So it needs to be fresh if it's in season, and particular for that time of year. I remember coming to Egypt, and for the first time ever, I saw fresh figs. In Arabic, it's teen. Do you know teen, Omar?
Tea.
Yeah.
Tea?
In my country, I was very surprised to see these teen, to see these fig. It's fig in English. This fruit, because in my country we get them only at Christmas in a box, and they're dry. They're not fresh. So this was the first time I ever saw fresh teen, and I was amazed. It was amazing. Yeah. So should the food be a particular season? There's only a certain time of the year. I think it's in the summer when we have teen. We maybe don't have teen in the winter because it's not the season for teen. Do you understand?
Yes.
Right. So I've given you an idea of what the speaking test is about. It seems to be about where you live, and then it talks about cooking and food. So I'm now going to time you with my stopwatch. I'm going to give you 1 or 2 minutes to make notes. They never say make a mind map, but when you hear the word notes, I've already told you, that means mind map. So can you now make a mind map about Abu Dhabi, what kind of place it is, what's famous, the famous buildings, if it has parks, and then you want to go on to put cooking and food and restaurants and talk about that sort of thing, okay? You have, let's say, 2 minutes starting now. Okay, Omar? Off you go, and I'll time you. Okay, let's begin. The 2 minutes is finished. Are you ready, Omar?
Yes.
Great. So, good morning. May I have a look at your passport? That's the first thing they say. And can you tell me your full name, please?
My full name is Omar Mohammed Hassan Abdullah Hassan Ali.
Thank you, Omar. All right, Omar, in the first part, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about where you live. What kind of a place is it?
I live in United Arab Emirates. The capital of United Arab Emirates is Abu Dhabi.
Okay. What do you like best about the capital or United Arab Emirates? Can you explain?
We have a big mosque in Abu Dhabi. It's for Sheikh Zayed. And we have Qasr al-Hassan as museum.
And
we have a different like Karnik.
Is it a famous mosque? Does everybody know this mosque?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's move on to something else. What kind of jobs do people do in the UAE or in Abu Dhabi?
We have more than one things. We have the police and we have the university, we have the school, and we have multiple.
Okay, sorry, you have, what was the last place you had?
Toilet.
Oh, okay. And would you say that Abu Dhabi is a good place to live and to work in?
Yes.
It's a good place to be.
It's a good place to.
Okay.
Yes, because security.
Security. That's a good reason. Okay, so it's secure. That's good. Okay. Now let's move on to sport. How much time do you spend, let's say every week, how much time do you spend playing or watching sports?
I do exercise every day and 1 hour.
Oh, that's good. Okay. What sort of exercise do you do, Omar?
We have a bicycle and running.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
That's very nice. So you're very fit then, are you? So what about in the summer? Do you have a swimming pool?
In the summer we have we go into the beach and we have a swimming.
Oh, you go to the beach and swim there. That's very nice. So you go swimming in the sea on the beach in the summer. How lovely. Okay. Which sports are most popular and well known? I mean, for example, your favorite sports or people's favorite sports, which is more popular in Abu Dhabi or the UAE?
We have in Abu Dhabi racing camel.
Oh, yes, I remember you said that before. Yeah, racing the camels. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So tell me more about racing the camels. I've actually seen that on Dubai One TV. What happens? How do you train the camels, for example?
We have more than one, and we have a racing with the other, and we see who's the first than another.
Like the horses, yes?
Yes, like the horses.
That's very interesting, Omar. Thank you. Which sports did you do when you were at school? I think you're still at school. So what sports do you do at school, for example?
We have at school, we have playing football and we swimming at school.
That's interesting.
Only that.
Do you have any famous football players you can talk about in Abu Dhabi?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. I'm glad you remembered to ask, can you repeat? Because you are it's your right to ask. Good, well done. Yes. Do you have any, I think we've got here in Egypt, well, we did have, he's in London now. Mohamed Salah is a famous football player in Egypt.
Yes, we have here more than player from United Arab Emirates. It's name Ali Mabkhout. He's player in the Jazeera club. And we have Omar Salah. He's playing in Al Ain club.
Okay.
And we have more than.
So you have many. Who is the best one? In your opinion, who is the best football player?
The best player in the United Arab Emirates is Ali Mabkhout.
Okay, why is he the best, Omar? Can you explain to me?
Because he's doing exercise and he's playing football in the club with his club more than 5 years.
Okay, so he's very good at football then.
Yes.
He's good at football. So he must have a good way of doing it. He's got a good technique, would you say? Do you think he's got a good technique? Okay, that's good. Okay, so let's move on. Do you think that all children should do sport? You can look at the center.
Yes, that is a good thing. We should do it for the children and all humans in the world should doing exercise and do sport.
You think
because for his body and his healthy, be in the healthy way.
Yeah, I agree with you. So you think all people should do sport? Should they do it on a daily basis or a weekly basis? What do you think? How many times a week do you think we should be doing sport?
We can do all the week, 1 hour or 13 minutes.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, okay then. So now let's move on to food. Okay, so right now let's move on to food. Do you like cooking, Omar?
Yes.
You do?
I love cooking.
Okay.
Yes.
So can you tell me what kind of food do you like to cook? We get hungry now.
I like a meat and the chicken and the rice.
Okay. So in Egypt we call the meat lahma and we call the rice roll. Yes. You call it the same? Okay, that's interesting. So now I'm getting very hungry. So you like to cook. So what does your mother think about you cooking? Does she give you the kitchen? Does she let you go in there and cook?
I did not cooking, but I can cook.
I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. So that's great to know. So one day, inshallah, when you grow up, when you get big and you get married, you're going to make someone a very good husband because when your wife gets tired, you can do the cooking. So that's nice to know. Okay. How often do you go? I've missed one. Okay. No, I haven't. How often do you go to restaurants? We've got something here.
We have a good restaurant in United Arab Emirates, and we have the fast food.
Okay. Which do you like best? Do you like the normal restaurants or do you like the fast food? What we call junk food, I think.
I like to go to the best restaurant, which is do a good food and the good thing.
The one that cooks good food. Okay, healthy food it calls. Okay.
Healthy food.
Yeah, okay. So can you tell me about the restaurant that you like the best, your favorite restaurant, which is popular?
We have a fresh food and we have broccoli in United Arab Emirates. We have more than things.
You have broccoli. That's very healthy, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. Okay, Omar. So what kind of restaurants, I've asked you that question already. So what do you think a restaurant needs to have to be successful?
We should remove all the fast food from, because the fast food is not good for.
No, I agree with you. It's not healthy, is it, Omar? A fast food restaurant is unhealthy. It's not healthy. Yes, I agree with you. Okay, I think you did really well. So let me just stop. So you actually spoke and you did a very good job, Omar. You spoke for 9 minutes and 26 seconds. So well done. Alf Mabruk, you did very well. So now I think we just have time to go on and do this grammar sheet here. I'm going to ask you, do you still see the screen with me, Omar?
Yes, I see the screen.
Okay, we're going to do some vocabulary here, vocab for short. So the sentence says, number one, and we're going to choose A, B, C, or D. Well-known people often avoid, they avoid being in public by wearing big sunglasses. Ah, yes, Nadala Shams, yeah, and a hat, okay. So now let's think which word fits in. I'll read it to you and you can choose one. Well-known people often avoid being recognized in public by wearing big sunglasses and a hat. Or well-known people often avoid being realized in public. You know what public is, Omar, yes?
Yes, public place.
Good, good, okay. Or well-known people often avoid being pointed. So if someone points at you like this, but I don't think that doesn't make sense, won't fit in there. Or well-known people often avoid being maintained. Okay, so which word would you put in here? Have a think.
I did not know what is the meaning.
Don't worry, I'll help you. So, okay, don't worry. So, do you know the word recognized?
No.
Masalan, every day I see you on Zoom, so I recognize you as Omar. I know you as Omar, okay? Well, if you put big sunglasses and a hat, because you don't want people to see you, you don't want to be recognized. So it would be this one. So well-known people often avoid, the word avoid means I don't want it, okay? So well-known people, they often avoid being recognized, seen. If you recognize someone, you see them. I see you are Omar, I recognize you as Omar, okay?
Yes.
In public by wearing big sunglasses and a hat. So that's that one. The second one, to become a chocolate taster. Oh, that's what a wonderful job to be tasting chocolate all day long. Oh, wow. To become a chocolate taster, I studied for a degree in one of these things. And then I worked for an ice cream manufacturer for a few years first. Okay. So this person studied for a degree in something to do with chocolate and ice cream. What do you think it would be? Just have a guess. I studied for a degree in... Okay. Now this word here, nutritious, it means if something is nutritious means it's full of vitamins and it's very healthy and it's good for you. So if a food is nutritious, like broccoli, so nutritious broccoli has got lots of vitamin C. Okay, but we want to say I studied for a degree in... I want you to
nutritious.
Pick out the adjective if you can. The word that describes nutritious, because they're all the same word and the same meaning, but in different forms. So I want you to try and pick out
the second word.
Study for a degree in nutrient. No, it's not that one. It would actually be nutrition. I studied for a degree in nutrition and then worked for an ice cream maker for a few years. Okay, let's move on to the next one. They have exactly the same appearance. I'm sure you know that appearance means looks. So They have exactly the same looks, the same appearance, either mental, emotional, mental, or physical appearance. You can't have a mental appearance because you can't look inside somebody's head and see their brain or their mental state, right? So it can't be mental. It's not mental. So what do you think? It's not going to be metal, because if we're talking about clay people, they're not metal. They're not made of metal. Emotional appearance. Well, if I say to you, I'm sad, can you see my sadness or my happiness? Because it's in my heart and my soul. I don't think so, because if I'm sad or I'm happy, Omar, it would be in two places. It would be in my heart, in my alb, and in my mind, in my head, right? So you can't see it. So one of these words you can see. Which word can you see? Physical, yeah. Because you have a mind, but we can't see the mind. It's inside here. But we have a body, which is physical. A physical body we can see with our eyes, right? So we're going to put physical. So they have exactly the same physical appearance. Do you know what the word twins means? Twins. Two babies born on the same.
1 second.
Yeah.
1 second.
Yeah, we've got not long now. Yeah, we've got. Let me give you this worksheet so you can finish it.
Okay.
I'll give it to you in the chat. Just a minute.
Okay.
There you are, Omar. So I'm sending you this worksheet so you can finish it. And you know, don't you, that you can check your answers. So, for example, when you've finished, you can go down here, scroll down, click on finish, and you can check your answers. Okay? Okay, Omar, you have a lovely day.
Goodbye.
And I'll see you later. I'm going to stop the share. Bye.
Goodbye.